All right, today we are diving into a really fascinating psychological tool from the world of chaos magic. It's a state of mind called Gnosis, and honestly, it's considered the functional engine that makes the entire system work.
Let's start with a feeling I bet we all know. You have that moment of inspiration, a really clear goal, and then, almost instantly, that little voice in your head pops up and says, "Nah, that'll never work." Where does that voice even come from? And, more importantly, how do you get past it?
Well, the system we're exploring today actually has a name for that voice. It sees it as a fundamental obstacle, a kind of gatekeeper, standing between what we want and making it happen. And here it is, the psychic censor. This is the part of your conscious mind that filters absolutely everything. It's that voice of doubt that takes any new idea, compares it to everything you already believe, and just says, nope, not possible. According to chaos magic, if you want to manifest any intention, you first have to learn how to bypass this internal watcher.
So, how do you sneak a message past the most vigilant guard in the world, your own conscious mind? Well, the answer lies in a technique designed to bypass this censor completely. That technique is called Gnosis. Now, what's crucial here is that Gnosis isn't some lofty, mystical goal. It's a functional, deliberately induced state. Think of it less like achieving enlightenment and more like using a tool, a mental state you enter for one specific purpose, to plant an idea while your rational mind isn't looking. You see, you're not trying to fight the psychic censor head-on. That almost never works. Instead, you're basically creating a cognitive Trojan horse. You engineer a situation where the mind's defenses are either distracted or totally offline, and that allows your real intention to slip right inside, completely unnoticed. Okay, so how is this state of no mind actually achieved? The system lays out three very distinct paths, which is great because it lets you choose a method that really fits your own personality. The two main paths are fascinating because they are complete polar opposites. You can get to Gnosis by either systematically emptying your mind until it's totally silent, or you can overload it with so much stuff that it just shuts down. So first up is the inhibitory path. This is the path of stillness. It uses techniques we're probably familiar with, like deep breathing, long meditation, or even holding a difficult posture. The whole point is to systematically reduce all the input, quieting the mind until there's nothing left but this silent, receptive awareness. Now for the complete opposite approach, the excitatory path. This is the path of high energy, wild, cathartic release. Instead of quieting the mind, the goal here is to just overwhelm it. We're talking ecstatic dancing, rapid drumming, sensory overload, intense emotional peaks. The idea is that the psychic sensors simply can't process that much information at once, and for a brief moment, it just crashes. And then there's the third path, which, might be the most clever of all, indifferent vacuity. This is where you launch your intention during a moment of just casual non-thought. See, the sensor is always looking for important things to analyze. So, by tying your intention to some mundane act like washing dishes or doodling, you give it zero significance. It just slips right past the guard, totally unnoticed. Okay, so we understand the what and the how, but what is the practical application of getting into this state of no mind? What do you do with it? By far, the most quintessential use of the Gnostic state is for charging sigils. This is pretty much the classic chaos magic operation, and Gnosis is the key that turns the ignition. The process itself is a four-step operation. First, you state a really clear intention. Second, you condense that statement down into an abstract symbol, a sigil, to hide its real meaning from your conscious mind. Third, you enter Gnosis, and at the absolute peak of that state, you pour all of your focus into that sigil. And finally, and this is just as critical, you fire and forget. You destroy the symbol and you consciously let go of the entire operation. So why is forgetting so important? It's because of this concept called lust of result. This is the term for that anxious checking, that constant wondering, did it work yet? Is it working? That attachment, that doubt, it keeps the intention tethered to your conscious mind where the psychic sensor can just pick it apart and end up sabotaging the whole thing. And this is exactly why Gnosis is the perfect antidote. By launching the intention from a state of no mind and then immediately letting it go, you prevent that magic-killing attachment from ever taking root. You've already bypassed the sensor. Now you have to let the subconscious get to work without any interference. Now, this whole concept has some really profound implications that go way beyond just a single operation. I mean, if you can deliberately switch off your conscious analytical mind, what does that say about the nature of belief itself?
And this gets to the absolute core philosophy. Belief isn't some permanent capital T truth. It's a tool. It's a piece of software you can choose to run. And Gnosis is the operative state that makes this all possible. For one brief moment of total mental silence, you can install a temporary absolute belief in your goal, without it ever having to conflict with your normal rational worldview.
Which leaves us with a final thought. We spend our whole lives identified with that constant shatter of the psychic sensor. But if that internal guard can be deliberately told to stand down, even for just a moment, what messages could you deliver to the deepest parts of your own consciousness?